Welcome back, everybody, to the GameWisp Weekly Podcast.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. This is part 2 of episode 9, and we are going to talk about.
Tell me.
The monster that is Twitch.
Good monster or bad monster?
Big monster.
Big, good monster.
Big, good monster. I actually didn't think it was possible for game streaming to get any more mainstream than it was when Twitch was bought by Amazon.
Yeah.
Like, it was not like, I was like, okay, it's a done thing. We're going to put a bow on this. We're going to push it away.
Yeah.
You got bought by Amazon. Good deal. And man, and so when I read their 2014 annual report, which Twitch released last week, I was blown away.
Yeah.
Blown away by
amazing.
what this company is still doing. Like,
Right.
they have taken this large injection of cash from Bezos et al. And have basically said, you know what, we're going to keep doing what we're doing. We're just going to do it more awesome. Mm-hmm. And more people are going to do it. It's going to get more mainstream, and we're going to get enormous. Yeah. And I think the explosive growth point was kind of the first thing I noticed from their year-end report.
Yeah, and I think looking back at this, which we covered in our previous end-of-year, beginning-of-year podcast that we did recently, just how Twitch was almost bought by Google, and then that whole
big old kerfuffle,
right? And then it ended up being Amazon that bought them. And one of the big rumors about that was we want to maintain our independence. You know, the thought was Google's going to roll us up into YouTube. You know, Amazon's like, do what you do. And so I think you see that in this sort of like back half of 2014, as well as the year. They wouldn't have gotten bought if they weren't a juggernaut already.
Sure.
But are bought for as much. And so, you see them like doubling down on all the things that make them great. Yeah. And all the things that they know are making them succeed as a business. Exactly.
And I mean, let's put numbers on that. So their international viewership grew, it doubled in 11 months.
Wow.
So in 11 months, I guess international is anything that's not America. North America, however they're quantifying that number doubled. From enormous to enormouser.
Two
times as enormous.
That's right.
And so, on top of that, they've cracked the 100 million mark on unique monthly visitors.
That's crazy.
So over 100 million unique monthly visitors
and
watching content.
I think when they were purchased, I remember it was around that time, they had just right before that or right around that time mentioned that they had 50 million monthly, or it was 45 million. And so you look at in 6 months, the back half of the year, they doubled the views on the site.
Unique viewers, new eyeballs coming to that site, seeing what Twitch is all about.
Because it's not just 100 million views; it's visitors, right?
Yeah,
which is intense.
And it's crazy. It's crazy. And so you gotta wonder. You've got the money. Yeah, you've got the size, right? You've definitely got the infrastructure, which they've been working on since the days of Justin TV, and which is, coming from a technical perspective, as a technical guy, I kind of blush and get cold, hot sweats after this when I look at their infrastructure. It's like, holy cow, guys! I would give both arms to have that infrastructure. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's really good, and it's I think that they have that foundation in place in a way that they can now not necessarily take chances, but push hard on initiatives that they may have been waiting on until they had everything in place to go. All right, let's open up the floodgates. And make things.
There's no barrier anymore. Yeah. There's no barrier. Money is not an issue. Yeah. Surely, if you have close to $1 billion in your bank account, money's not an issue. I don't know if they burn. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm going to guess money's not an issue.
$1 billion.
Infrastructure, tech, scale, not an issue.
Yeah.
Viewers, eyeballs, people coming and seeing what you're doing, not an issue. Yeah. You can basically do anything you want and be guaranteed that it'll be performant in the large scale, and you can pay for it.
Right.
And so it's like, what now?
Yeah.
And so what now, Mr. Anderson? What is Twitch doing next?
Well, I think they're putting their focus even more and more on the partners, the streamers that make Twitch worth anything.
Right, which we saw at PAX South.
And we saw that at PAX South. We specifically saw their booth evolve from the last event we were at with them, or where I saw it at PAX Prime in September, to, I guess, the end of August, but to now, is the booth even transformed even more. They had a seating area in the middle of the booth that was just purely for Twitch partners to hang out and talk to each other.
Like VIP.
Yeah. And they had on the side of the booth a a sort of just bench area where people could come and host an autograph session, and there'd be people lined up around the booth, waiting to talk to, whoever it might be.
Sure.
And that was just an amazing thing to see, just how much, they even had offices in this booth.
for their partners.
Right. They could close the door and have a meeting with somebody, and then they were still broadcasting. They still had stations. There's like Hearthstone stations where people could actually play Hearthstone right there and stream that. And, so they had like all the different pieces, but really everything centered on the partners. And I think you're going to see that throughout 2015 is that they're going to focus on building value for their partners. And whether that's going to be software features, whether that's going to be brand partnerships, it could be live experiences, things like that.
And in some ways, they're already doing that, right? Yeah. I mean, so you think back to early 2014, right before they were about to get bought, and Twitch had to do a crackdown on copyrighted music. Like, we can't have this copyrighted music going on our Twitch streams because everybody gets upset, and at the time, Google won't buy us, right? And so, what did they do? They took, and I'm just going to be really crass about this. They took a very YouTube approach, and they said, we're just going to have some software that just bans stuff. With a very, it's a very sledgehammery approach when I really need a scalpel to get this done right. Yeah. And there was uproar. There was a whole lot of hullabaloo around it. Emmett Shear did it AMA on Reddit at the time. It just took a whole lot of flack for this. Yeah. And so what did they do? They stepped back and said, whoa, we really screwed the pooch there. That was a mistake. Yeah. How do we do this in a way that doesn't disenfranchise our partners? Right. Because they matter just as much to us as investors. They matter just as much to us as users, as advertisers. Yeah. They are making our money. Right. Hopefully that's the thought process. That's what I'm hoping. Right. Surely that's what happened behind closed doors.
I mean, in my interaction with their partnership managers and things, like that's the viewpoint they
exactly.
have.
They meet their partners are extremely important. And I think that's a very, very not only noble and honorable, but fiscally important decision, mindset to have. And so what do they do instead? They step back and say, okay, well, they want their music, this software stuff, okay, it didn't go over that well. So let's just license a bunch of music. Yeah. Right. And that has been Twitch in 2014, 2015. Right. Is they have licensed a large legal music library such that if you're a streamer, there's some legal music you can play and still, monetize or do what you're going to do. Right. And not have to worry about copyright problems. And so that is a step forward in the right direction. That is not how do we write software to make our lives easier so we don't have to have a dude sit here and look at these streams and say, oh, that's copyrighted. Instead it's how do we do this in a way that empowers our streamers and our partners.
Absolutely. And I think another great thing about Twitch that we'll see this year is them partnering with other people in the ecosystem. I look at, one of their moves they made last year, which was we're going to they basically said, we're not a VOD company. They just we're getting rid of, we're not going to store your VODs for...
the speedrunners hit the fan over that.
Right. You're going to need to export them. You need to put them somewhere else. We're not storing your recorded videos. And I think that, number one, you're going to see them sort of doubling down on streaming. And we can talk about that more.
Fair. I mean, it's what they're built to do.
For sure. And I think, but at the same time, they're like, you like to see that focus because it's not... they know what they're good at. They know what their infrastructure is great for, and they're going to optimize that for their partners as much as they can because that's what they're about. They're about streaming. They're about live content, and I think they are going to look ahead towards partnering with other people, whether it be for VOD, like you can push to YouTube automatically. For other things, like they partner with other people. So I think Twitch is going to see, or you're going to see Twitch sort of try to build up the ecosystem and be a good neighbor to all the other people because they want gaming video to succeed.
Sure. Now, they're considering making a move outside of gaming, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so moving into other verticals. When I first heard this, I thought it was pretty odd, because you started as Justin TV and you were kind of providing, using a broad brush to paint streaming, and then you're like, well, this isn't working. Let's just laser focus on gaming. Yeah. Okay, now let's broaden our focus again.
Right.
I'm skeptical. Yeah. I'm skeptical for a couple reasons to why I think Twitch worked really well as live streaming in the gaming space.
Sure.
And two, why I think it's going to be harder for it to work in other industries.
Okay. Hit me with that.
Hit you. Here's a knowledge bomb. One, have you ever tried to stream? We stream Morning Coffee, right? Yeah. And it's a pain. Yeah. It's streaming it's a lot easier than it ever has been. Sure. But I think if I'm a gamer, if I'm somebody that likes especially a PC gamer, I'm a fiddly person. I don't mind opening OBS and setting up these settings and figuring out how to link that to my Twitch stream and get it to
crashes. I'm happy to restart it.
I'll figure out how to overlay my chat on the video stream. I'll figure out how to integrate stuff like Stream Tip. I'll just figure all that out because I like playing PC games. I like fiddling. That's just what I'm into. I think as you move into other verticals, that gets a lot different. Can you imagine, say the Foo Fighters want to live stream, right? Like, Twitch moves into a music vertical. It's, I don't know, Shred TV or whatever. Who cares? But they go into that vertical and it's like, okay, streamer, to make this work, you're going to have to set up a camera. You're going to have to get your microphone set up. You're going to have to hit this button. It's going to have to stream through. It's like, no. I think there's still a large technical barrier between going from your living room or your garage, if you're a garage band streaming, getting onto Twitch, and that barrier was vastly mitigated in the gaming space,
right?
And
because you have a bunch of technical people
that just like to fiddle, we're all gaming people, raise your hand if you built your own gaming rig, so it's like these are things we like to do,
right?
I'm dubious you'll see that in other verticals, but I think it would be very interesting if Twitch sat down and said, look, we have conquered the hosting side of live streaming. You get your stream to us, we disseminate it to the masses, and it works really well. I would love to see them say, okay, we want to move into other verticals. We have to make this other part easier. We have to make this going from your living room to our servers easier. I would love to see somebody with a vested interest in streaming success do a really, really user-friendly streaming client.
Totally.
I think that'd be really interesting.
And there's companies out there that have done that. Ustream has a built-in streaming client.
Who uses that?
I'm not sure. A lot of corporations, they use their enterprise stuff, but a lot of there's other companies that have popped up trying to service the music industry. It's just going to be interesting to see if Twitch can conquer some of the problems that have prevented some of those other platforms from growing because they have the viewership already built in. I don't know. We'll see what happens. You look at platforms like YouTube's live streaming. They have the eyeballs,
but it doesn't work out.
Well, and I don't think they've solved problems around that because they're such a VOD company. They're trying to push into live streaming, and so they don't have that focus, I guess, on the technology side, and not just technology, but delivery, experience, all that kind of stuff. So it's a different thing for them. But they have the eyeballs, so it isn't just about the eyeballs. So I think going back to our point about partners and then focusing on that, I think as they go into other verticals, which is great now, they focus and sort of conquer this one. It's a great time for a company to look at other ones and not try and do all of them, but try to do a relevant other one, and say, how can we make this awesome for our partners, and how can we sort of be a part of the transition from our partners being gaming people to being also other types of artists, musicians, or performance artists, or whatever it is.
Chefs.
And many of those people might be technically savvy. There's no stereotypes there, but is it going to work out best for the Foo Fighters who have a production company that can set up all that stuff for them and get the live stream to Twitch? Or is it going to work out for the at-home artist the best who
plays a ukulele?
Who is more, I guess, more resembles somebody like a Twitch streamer who's in their home office doing something like that. So it's going to be interesting to see if the music piece or geek piece or whatever they expand to actually if the customer is the same. That's going to be interesting to see.
And, I don't want to belabor this too much, but you'll notice, there are other platforms that allow, say, a musician to reach out to their fans through a live experience over a stream, right? A concert window, right? One of them. And so what did they do? They realized that to solve this problem for musicians, they had to make this going from your living room to our server side as dead simple as possible.
Right.
So they built their own broadcaster, and you have to, I think, and that's a problem Twitch is going to have to approach. The other big problem they have, I think, is crossover, right? So you've got the eyeballs, but they're all gaming eyeballs, right? I'm not coming to Twitch or a site on the Twitch network to watch something that's not you streaming a game,
right?
And so it's if I'm watching somebody play Call of Duty, and there's a pop-up that's come check out this live performance from, I don't know, Alanis Morissette, who cares? It's I don't want to do that. I'm a gamer, I'm here to do this. And so, I think audience growth may still be a problem.
Yeah, well, it'll be the similar thing that happens on YouTube where you watch a gaming video and it suggests Alanis Morissette, a music video, and you're like, why is this? It's like,
care.
oh, my sister watched, or my brother, whatever, everyone loves Alanis Morissette.
It's true.
Watched this video earlier today on my computer, and so it's suggesting this to me, and really I want just episode 5 of this. So how are they going to segment those people, those viewers? A lot of questions, but
it is.
It's going to be interesting to see them tackle those.
I think if anybody can solve it, it's them.
Yeah,
if they're experienced in money
for sure.
Structure. But I'm going to reserve judgment. We'll see what happens.
We'll see.
Yeah.
So Twitch, I guess in the end, I think Twitch is going to have a banner year again. Like I don't see them slowing down. I think gaming video in general is going to have a banner year. But there's always somebody wanting to throw a big old bomb into the mix when you think gaming video is just going to go great in this awesome trajectory.
Sure.
Somebody's always throwing a complexity into it, right?
It's people with a vested interest in the way things were and not the way things are and the way things are going to be. And so really, I guess that's a good segue. And so when we come back, we're going to talk about the big mushroom-eating, dinosaur-riding elephant in the room, and that is Nintendo and their recent stance on the monetization and use of their gaming video.
Yeah. So come back and see us.
See you soon.
Do.